Alright guys, so this is what we're doing today. It's video 951. Not really, but most of them suck. So, uh, today we are battling some akathisia. So I am trying to stay busy. Uh, I was doing pretty good on my protracted withdrawal. Stopped messing with my medication, made sure I was picking up my refills in a timely manner. Uh, Minortriptyline. And since I don't think I've even posted my other videos, I may need to do an intro. My name is Christina Chris. I'm 60, be 61 in April. I have been documenting coming off of my psych meds. In January, I made a cut to my nortriptyline, 25 milligrams. Honestly, I didn't even remember doing it. I had to go back through my pharmaceutical records. Um, so I made the 25 milligram cut from 50. And then in April, I made another 5 milligram cut. I was getting my prescription from the manufacturer, I believe it was Watson. And then in April, when I cut that 5, I started getting a new manufacturer, Teva. And honestly, I thought it was the Teva prescription that was affecting me the way that it was. So I took that month's prescription. Um, but in the meantime, I made a report to the FDA and to Teva and to Walgreens corporate about the Teva prescription. I just didn't feel right. So we switched it back to Watson, and in the meantime, starting about May, my protracted withdrawal really started getting bad. Um, I didn't actually figure out until about August. It took me a while to go back through and find out where I had made the cut. I know better. I don't know what even possessed me. So anyway, the last 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks, I kind of started to feel like I was getting over the worst of it. Uh, and then about 4 days ago, they did my prescription, and this time we're back to Teva. And for the last 3 days, it's been really rough. I was told Watson had been purchased by somebody, and then Teva purchased it from somebody, so they stopped making the Watson. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what to do except hang here. I almost feel like I'm starting all over again. Uh, Akathisia's ridiculous. The vertigo, the brain fog, just, it's like being sick, only brain sick. I, yeah, I've been having a rough time. I've been spending too much time on YouTube. Started getting into some subjects I don't have any business even watching. And of course, with YouTube, once you hit that algorithm, all the videos turn out to be the same. And for the first time, this is the first time this has happened, this issue that I was getting involved in. I actually dreamed about it. And that doesn't, that's never happened before. I mean, I've dreamt about video games, I've dreamt about movies, uh, but this was disturbing enough to me that I'm like, okay, we have to stop. We have to find something else to do. Um, Unfortunately, I can't say unfortunately, my oldest son, due to um an illness in his father's family, and COVID, and the economy just here in Michigan is ludicrous. So he's been staying with me. Uh, he lives in the living room. So in order for me to be quiet, I'm kind of reduced to living in two rooms. And when it was nice out, I could at least go outside and work in the yard, go for a walk. I would go out and sit on my bench and meditate. We're changing colors here. Um, that looks blue, but it's not. It's like a lilac, light purple. Um, but now I'm, like I said, kind of reduced to two rooms, so I don't. If he's not working, and he is kind of laid off for the winter due to where he works at. Um, Even though he puts in applications every morning, he has a lot of good skills, but between the ghost posting and it's ridiculous here. Um, so uh, yeah, that doesn't help because getting up and moving around, it's like, where am I gonna go? Plus, I just had knee replacement surgery done a little over 12 weeks ago. Um, so getting back to been doing some healing. Haven't been really going down to the basement. I still have a garage and a basement that needs to be gone through and cleaned. So anyway, Yeah, altogether, I'm on 4 psych meds. Uh, my main goal was to get off of the SSRI. Boy, are those a scam. Um, so I had gotten liquid from my doctor. My insurance will pay for that med for liquid. Medicaid does anyway. Um, but then I figured out I was in withdrawal from the nortriptyline. Um, mm, I started thinking about it. I have been without my nortriptyline before, and usually the withdrawals are rough, but after 10 days or so, I'm I I'm coming out of it. Well, I made that cut, 25 milligrams in January. I didn't start really noticing that I was in withdrawal um, until about April, May. And it wasn't really bad until I got the Tiva refill. That's when things got really bad. And at that time, I had also made a 5 milligram cut. So I cut 20 in January and then another 5 in April, at the beginning of April. So, I, thinking on it, I find it kind of strange that when I made that initial 20 milligram cut, my nortriptyline, I, I didn't have any problems. It wasn't until I made that 5 milligram cut on that new manufacturer. And then when I did go back to my Watson prescription, it's almost like it made the withdrawals. It's almost like that's when the withdrawal started. Couple. So, I did try to go back up, and as I increased, it got worse. And then for a while there, because I've also been cutting my Celexa, I was thinking, well, maybe I should go back up to my other dose of Celexa. That only lasted for like 2 days because then I felt really bad. So now I'm hanging here at my 20 milligrams of nortriptyline. Started feeling better up until I got the Tiva. Now I do know Tiva has had problems in the past. They've had recalls. And when I did make the complaint, the FDA, somebody from Tiva did call me. But I'm gonna tell you, if you ain't got a batch number, you're screwed. And Walgreens was supposed to be looking up batch number for me, but I, of course, never heard anything back. I did get a confirmation email from the FDA, and then Tiva sent me paperwork, but of course, I don't have a batch number. Now, honestly, it seems to me that there's a possibility that at least two of those places should have a batch number. I finally decided, screw it. I'm not going to worry about it. It's stressing me out. So I let that go. Um, Dr. Horowitz and Dr. Joseph, who has a taper clinic. I've been following on YouTube. They've become the standard, the pros when it comes to tapering. Uh, Dr. Horowitz collabed on a book called Maudsley Deprescribing. There's a free download, it's a free PDF. I have that. My plan actually was, once I stabilize, um, to start tapering off the nortriptyline. I do have a liquid solution of that. I bought syringes off of Amazon. But I will tell you, number one, I made sure I got 10 milliliter and I got 5 milliliter. But what I've noticed is that the writing for the measurements on the syringes is black. And the tip of the plunger that goes into the medication is also black. And that, for me, makes it kind of inaccurate. Especially, I mean, if you're doing like 5 to 10 milligram cuts at a time, I'm sorry, 5 to 10% cuts at a time, I guess that's not too huge of a deal. But because I have become so sensitive, uh, I'm I'm going to be starting at 2%. I know that sounds ridiculous. But if I can go for a few weeks at 2%, I am then going to start cutting 4% and see how that goes. I did ask Dr. Horowitz about tapering multiple medications. I do know Dr. Joseph has addressed that. Uh, Outro Dr. Horowitz does not recommend tapering more than one med at a time. And I understand that because I feel the same way about starting medications. You know, doctors, psychs, they'll start 2 or 3 medications at the same time, and then if you start having a reaction, you don't know which med. But yeah, once I finally stopped with the cross tapering and the dose adjustments and everything, and just wrote things out, I started feeling better. This new development, I am going to have to make sure I'm going to have to, I got 90 days, 30 days, 90 days, I think, to adjust to this new manufacturer. Uh, and then I'm going to start getting off of it. I'm also taking an SSRI. I'm down to 10 milligrams every morning from I'm down 10 milligrams from originally 25. I was on an SSRI Latuda at one point in time, and I got tired of being emotionally stunted. Oh, excuse me. Kind of sucks when you need to cry, but you can't. Uh, so, my dumbass stopped taking it. Cold turkey. I think I might have been 25 milligrams at that also. I stopped taking that like in July of 21, and in September I started noticing that I was having trouble controlling my tongue. It was like it had a mind of its own. Well, this is called oral dyskinesia, and yeah, I've had it for, wow, 4 years now. Um, so I've had it for 4 years. Um, Tried going back on the Latuda, but it didn't help, and it made me feel awful. So I went off the Latuda, and I requested Celexa. I've had experience with Celexa before, and I knew that it was mild when it comes to side effects when you start taking it, and I had been on it before. So yeah, that's how I wound up on 25 milligrams of Celexa. Reinstating the SSRI did not get rid of my dyskinesia. I know that there are medications out there for dyskinesia, but if you're already struggling with depression, yeah, I'm having a cigarette. I just haven't lit it yet. Um, One of the major side effects is depression, and to me, that just seems ridiculous. So, no, I honestly would rather deal with the dyskinesia than take a medication that is going to add more garbage into my brain and body. Um, Gosh, I don't know what else, but I can tell you that both my oldest son and my youngest son were on psych meds. Um, my youngest kind of quit taking them on his own. Uh, my oldest, he was cold turkey because they cut his insurance off right after COVID. And he did, once he got his insurance reinstated, he was talking about going back on his meds. His biggest problem is sleeping. Seroquel is insidious. So both boys were on Seroquel. My oldest was only on 20 milligrams. My youngest, 15 minutes. He saw that woman. Comes out with two prescriptions. Seroquel for sleep, 150 lipid milligrams. Crazy. And he was taking that, but he would sleep for 12 hours and then he was freaking depressed the rest of the time. So, anyway, not too long ago, about 3 months ago, 2 months ago, he decided he needed to see a psychiatrist um, for depression and for his sleep. Uh, and that's another situation. He went in, he saw a legit psychiatrist. This time she saw him for 15 minutes. I'm sure he didn't tell her he spends most of his day in the basement in front of his computers. Goes outside maybe a couple times a week to take out the trash. Gets no sun, no fresh air, damp basement, taking in blue light. There's like two little windows down there. So yeah, it's a no wonder he's depressed. Not to mention we don't eat right. Um, but they have watched me struggle, and I actually begged my youngest, don't let them write you a script. Um, and he did, but because they have seen me struggle, he hasn't even gone to pick up his prescription. And my oldest is not taking his meds. He's using magnesium for sleep. It's not perfect. And we were talking yesterday, and he said something about having to take it just so that he can get a good night's sleep. And once in a while, yeah, I think that's a non-issue. I mean, maybe once or twice a week, once or twice a month, we need sleep. And if that's what it takes to function. Now, I discovered when I got cut off of my Klonopin, which I was prescribed for sleep. And honestly, it was at the time like a miracle because I insomnia for years. And so, yeah, I slept like a baby. 8, 9 hours. Just amazing. And then I found out that because I take Klonopin, I can't get pain medication. Um, so I had been my original goal was to get off the Klonopin. Well, in June of 24, I had a pet emergency and missed my telehealth call with my psychiatrist to refill my Klonopin by 5 minutes. And I had I had I had a senior dash hound that was going to be put down the next day, and he was losing his bowels on the floor. And he was distressed about it. He was a good boy, so I took him outside real quick. And of course, that's when I got the call. But when I called back, he refused to see me, and he was leaving that weekend um, for a month to go on vacation. So I asked them, okay, so what do I do? And they said, have your primary care doctor write the prescription for you. Well, my primary care doctor went on vacation that same weekend for a month. Um, Here in the US, if you have a Klonopin prescription, you cannot get it refilled by anybody except for the prescribing doctors unless you go see a new psychiatrist. And then, in order for that to get covered, you have to see a psychologist, a therapist first. Then you get your appointment with a psychiatrist. And all of that would have taken the same amount of time for my primary care to be back. I went to the emergency. Well, first I went to the urgent care. Um, then I went to the emergency. Uh, And I can honest to God tell you that besides the withdrawals from Geodome, it was the worst experience of my life. Um, yeah, I went to the emergency room. They gave me what they referred to as a titration drug. I was like, yeah, whatever we need to do. Well, this medication was take 5 the first day, 4 the next day. So you work yourself down. So I'm taking it, and I'm only feeling slightly better. I don't know if better is even a good word, but yeah. And then I'm almost done taking it, and I check because I didn't even ask what it was, which is unusual for me, but I guess it's because I was desperate. Um, so I look it up and come to find out it's nothing more than another benzo, um, which was useless. So yeah, I was absolutely crazy for a month. My primary care doctor came back and I had to go in and see her. We tried a different med, which supposedly is easier on the withdrawals to come off of. Um, Felt like crap. I don't even remember what it's called. I feel like it started with an M. And then that wasn't working, so we switched to Valium. And about 3 days into the Valium, I'm really not feeling good. And then I remember that the last time I had taken Valium years ago, it made me suicidal. So when we went back on the Klonopin, but when I went back, instead of the whole milligram, I asked for 50 milligrams. So, yeah, right now I'm on 0.25 in the morning and 0.25 in the evening, and the dose is so low that it doesn't show up in my urinalysis. Um, so I kind of have given up. I'm not going to get pain pills. Um, I'll make do. There's other things, there's other ways to combat pain. More natural. I shouldn't say more natural, they're 100% natural. Uh, so yeah, I'm saving the Klonopin for last. And another thing is that often Klonopin can be recommended as a temporary add-on to help with withdrawals. So yeah, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Um, Gabapentin. Gabapentin I was given off-label for depression, Neurontin. And it's funny because I had asked for it years ago after seeing on some forums that people were using it for depression, even though it's supposed to be prescribed for nerve pain. I believe originally I was at 600 milligrams twice a day. Currently, I'm taking 300 milligrams twice a day. The gabapentin and the and the Klonopin, I'm just, I'm just gonna wait for last. Uh, I have liquid nortriptyline and liquid Celexa. So those will be the ones I'm working on. Like I said, I'll be following Maudsley's deep prescribing. Um, there's a wealth of information from Dr. Joseph and the Taper Clinic and Dr. Horowitz at Outro on YouTube. It's a shame that I have to go to YouTube to find out how to get off medications. I will tell you that I called all over trying to find somebody who could help me deprescribe. And every time I called the place, I would talk to the nurse and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And they would call me back and tell me, I'm sorry, we don't have anybody that can help you with that. But if you're more than welcome to come in and talk to a psychiatrist, and I feel like just printing out copies of Maudsley deprescribing and just going in and throwing it on their desk. They need a copy of Maudsley's prescribing also because they have it for patients, they have it for doctors. Um, yeah, and so right now I'm like super emotionally hypersensitive. So yeah, I'm staying off of YouTube. I'm streaming live bird cams, birds at the bird feeder. Um, and just, I mean, even if I have to get up and stand in front of the computer. And so I decided, yeah, I need to stop spending so much time on the computer. I need to get back to my crafting. This actually was a rug my grandmother started a long time ago. And it sat on a very large table in the basement. And when I moved in 2000, well, I actually got the rug in 2005. I kind of inherited all of her crafting stuff. Um, so I had the rug, but I had I had a lot going on. And I was thinking, so lately I've been minimizing and getting rid of stuff. And I was going to get rid of this. And I thought, you know what? I'm keeping it. I'm going to finish it. And I kind of been putting it off because I thought there was a lot left to go. Well, then I realized after I really got it set up and started looking at it, and I'm actually working on the last intended row of colors. And then it will do a half section of white, and then that will be the border. So yeah, this down here I finished some of the white, but like that's what my grandma started. Um, so yeah, it's almost done, and I'm excited about it. I miss crafting. I miss sewing. I'm sorry. That's the live bird cam streaming. Uh, so anyway, hanging here. I think it's Sunday. It's, oh God, I don't know what the date is. It's 23rd. Um, November 23rd. Thanksgiving is this week. Pretty much got everything we need. Oh, Facebook. Tried to deactivate my Facebook account and it's refusing to send me an email with a code. I've tried it both on the computer and on my phone. It says we're sending a code to my email address and they're not. Um, I have too many friends that are their life seems to revolve around politics, and because I am so highly sensitive and because I don't have no business looking and watching, making myself distressed, because when I do, I'm ignoring other things in my life that I need to do. Um, am I depressed? I am not clinically depressed. And quite frankly, besides the way I feel, quite frankly, I'm happy. I have some people to thank for that. If I'd had to go through this 3 years ago, I just would not be mentally or emotionally prepared. But I have some fantastic mentors, some good, sensible friends, and I kind of feel like the last 3 years have been leading up to this. It's like being prepared. Like I was being prepared to go through this because my goal is to get off the psych meds. Now, honestly, if it comes to the point to where I do wind up having to be on something for the rest of my life, um, that that just is the facts. Um, but but for now, we're stabilizing. We're keeping busy. I do my morning and evening gratitude. I notice how beautiful things are outside. It's cold and windy, but the sun is shining. The leaves have changed. Uh, got my animals. My knee is fantastic. I mean, I still have a little bit of surgical pain. Um, Not enough that I have to take anything for it. And quite frankly, I'm so used to being in pain that it just becomes something else you get used to. Uh, oh, speaking of knee surgery, when I went to the hospital to do my intake and they were going over my med list, the nurse and I had a conversation about how terrible psych meds are, and then I went into my story about withdrawal and the Klonopin, and she assumed that I was talking that I was off of the Klonopin. And I could have corrected her, but I just let it slide because I am pretty sure that if they had known that I was on the Klonopin, I'd have been relegated to Tylenol 3s after after major knee surgery. So I just let it slide. As far as they knew, I was done with the Klonopin. And I take my Klonopin before bed, and honestly, I don't take muscle relaxers or pain meds before I go to bed, just because of that reason, because of the Klonopin. I never have. At one point in time, I was on 1 milligram of Klonopin and had a prescription for 10 milligrams of methadone. And that, I usually only took a half of a pill, and that was like maybe once or twice a week. Um, and I never took it at night. Like I said, just because I'm aware of the dangers. It's funny how the government needs to protect us from ourselves. It's ludicrous, like we're children. Um, so um, I know this is not the prime way to do this video. Hey, can this be considered ASMR? ASMR while discussing med tapering. Yeah, so like I said, stabilizing, gonna stay here at 20 milligrams of my nortriptyline. Um, adjust to this new manufacturer. I mean, it's not new, but I've been on the Watson for years. I've stalled out. My brain has left the room. So anyway, yeah, I really start feeling my worst about 11:30 until about 3 or 4. It seems to abate a little bit, and then by 9, 10 at night, it gets better, but then that's when we take our nortriptyline, and it starts all over again. Um, I said I was gonna quit messing with it and adjusting, but I'm wondering if I take 10 at night and then 10 again in the morning, if that would help the withdrawals that start kicking in. Um, at about 11:30 the next day. Um, yeah, this is not exactly how I wanted to do these videos. I just can't stand looking at my face. I'm going to try real hard not to cry while doing any of these videos. But yes, it can become distressing. So, I guess, thanks for watching. I'll probably be back to do more of these ASMR videos. Bye.